Today I'm going to show you how to change out a side view mirror on a Saturn L-Series, and that could be station wagon or a sedan. The station wagon I believe is the LW1 and LW200 or LW100/200, the L-Series sedans. I'm not familiar enough with Saturn, but I do know that the mirrors are all compatible because I test fitted them at the junkyard on many different L-Series cars. And another thing that is similar are these side molding pieces. This Saturn was completely missing this side molding piece, and I took that off and was able to find a replacement for that. And this is on a wagon, LW1 2000 LW1, and I pulled this side piece off of a 2003 L-Series sedan. So these side molding trims, they have a habit of cracking, but if you have an L-Series, then you can find these moldings on any L-Series and they are compatible. I just wanted to note that because from the cars that I saw in the junkyard of the L-Series, this is a major problem. I give full credit to Andy for getting the mirror out for me at the junkyard. He took a pair of tin snips and actually cut the entire mirror housing up. Probably took him like 10 minutes to do it. He just cut it all, ripped the whole thing off of the mirror. He was having a problem getting the motor off of the lens because I just wanted the lens. Because if you get this from a junkyard, there's a chance that they will charge you for the motor and the lens. I didn't want to get charged for both because all I need is the glass. I just need the mirror. Today we're going to be talking about this side mirror. As you can see, it's pretty cracked up. Cracks all over there. And when you go to source a new mirror, this symbol right here on the mirror means that it is a heated mirror. So when you turn on your defroster, there is a defroster grid behind here, and I'll show you that in a couple minutes when I get to it. But the defroster grid behind here turns on so that you can get snow and ice and frost and stuff. It heats up just like your defroster lines in the back windshield, which is a pretty nice feature for people that live up north. However, people that live in tropical climates, such as myself in Florida, that is completely useless. We have no need for heated mirrors, so you can put a non-heated mirror in here and be just fine. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Now, I know that Rich Penn, who does a lot of Saturn videos, and I'm a big fan of Rich Penn, he knows I'm a big fan of his, he did one for an S-Series, and he didn't have one for an L-Series. And he was asking about that grid and wondering how that whole grid thing is going to work. Worst comes to worst, now you can see how badly this thing is cracked, so I'll just end up breaking it off. Okay, here's a list of materials that you will need for this project. A flathead screwdriver, nylon non-marring pry tool. This is a trim panel removal tool. And you can get this same exact set that I have from Amazon for $7. $1 per tool, $7 set, 7 tools. It is awesome, highly recommend it. Amazon. Pick tool or something that has a curved surface. A coat hanger would work just as well, and I'll go into that. Flashlight. You will need a small flashlight. When it comes time to reinstall, you're going to need a really small pair of needle nose pliers. And you will need a 10mm socket, wrench, and extender. I recommend an extender. You can use it without an extender. That's all the tools that you will need for this project, and it's actually a fairly simple project now that I've completed it and know what the hell I'm doing. That's it. That's a real map, ladies and gentlemen. This is what GPS used to look like. The first thing that you're going to want to do, obviously, is remove this so that you can get to the screws behind here in order to take out your mirror. As I've said in previous videos, most cars generally are going to be about the same. There are going to be a couple of clips and maybe a couple of prongs, but that's it. It should just pop straight out. Oh, this one has insulation on it. It's just where the heat has kind of mushed it into the molding there. This one's got really good insulation. Wow, that's nice. I like that. Okay, so this has one clip. That's it? Really? Just the one clip that goes in there? Wow, I'm surprised these things will just pop out on their own. Oh, no, there's a little nub down here. I see some nubbage. And on this side, there's tabs, so this has to slide back down behind the tabs, and that's what keeps the bottom from pulling out. That's actually pretty efficient. I like it, and this is good insulation. This feels really neat. Almost feels like memory foam. That is really neat stuff. I like that. God, why didn't they make the seats out of that? God, they just put this in a window clip. God, what a shame. That's really neat material. I've never felt that. I just want to touch it and play with it. It's so neat. Okay, anyway, I'm done playing. I might need to get this screw off in order to get access to this wiring harness, unless I can pull this straight up and out. No, I think that's just, yeah, that's just stuffed in there. I'll be able to disconnect that. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. There we go. Just need to push down more. I just don't have the force in my fingers, fat fingers, to push down enough. So you will need a flathead screwdriver, unless you have really small fingers. Now don't lose this down in the door, because that's going to suck. I'm not sure if I'm going to absolutely need to remove this or not. See, my guess is that this is going to be a screw that's going to hold in that little edge of the mirror. If you have an extender, I would recommend that you use it, because getting into this one in the corner, because of this flange here, is it's pretty tight. You're going to want at least a small extender. Oh, and here's another pro tip. I figured this one out at the junkyard, and I did it right the first time. Oh my god. Don't undo these bolts all the way. Just do them so they're loose. Otherwise, the mirror's going to fall off. That's basically what you're looking at there. 3 of those guys. Now for this last one, as you undo the screw, hold the mirror in your hand. Just to make sure. And then the mirror should pull right out. Make sure that your wire harness has got clearance. You might have to wiggle it off. No, it's just formed itself to the rubber window seal. The seal that goes around the window, it's just stuck onto the rubber. So be careful, because you don't want to split that. Alright, it all came off in one piece. We're looking good. And we have our old mirror, and I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side. And we're just working with the mirror. And you'll probably be able to see the legs of the tripod here. Just try and ignore those, because I want to try and get you as close up view as I can. Maybe you can spot a problem here. Look at that. Someone has tried to repair that previously as well, so my guess is that the car has always looked like that. Because the mirror sits this way, right? You will never see underneath of the mirror. So you would never see that repair. Shoddy repair job at that. You can see the wires sticking out. And this piece, this rubber piece here, I think is glued in. Sorry, I'm gonna have to turn my fan on. I know the wind is gonna kind of catch the microphone a little bit, but it's 90 degrees in here and I'm starting to sweat. I think I'm gonna go at this the same way Rich Pin did, except he used a hairdryer. I'm gonna use a heat gun. I recommend that you watch his video so you can see how he did it, but basically you heat up this glass. Now you can see the grid below here, but I can't just push this out. Oh my god, the grid is sticky. Shit. Okay, so I don't think that's gonna work. The grid, this has a, oh wow, that is sticky. That's just like 3M glue. That is super sticky. That means that this whole face of the mirror has a glue backing. It's not dabs of silicone on there. Oh wow. I don't think that the glass is ever going to be removed from this housing. That means I'm gonna have to disconnect these leads and try and figure out a way to get just the housing off. Shit. Well, I'm gonna have to study this for a little bit more and get back with you. Use a pick tool. It has to be curved, has to be something curved. A coat hanger, a J-hook on the end would work really well. You can manipulate the mirror manually. Click, 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 click. Get your little J-hook. In my case, this pick tool will work. A flat instrument will not work. It must have at least a curve. You have to get behind these tabs and pull them out one side at a time until you can pop this whole mirror off. And I believe that's what these large fin looking things are. They're not tabs, they're just like fins. And I believe that's so that you can get an instrument between the fins and that you can manipulate this tab to unlock or disengage. And here's a good look at the tabs. They are barbed tabs. Now that we have our mirror out, we have to disconnect these 2 blue wires. And it's important not to mix these up, because my guess is one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. I'm not sure if polarity matters, but it's always best to try and keep them in the same alignment as when they came out. For a heater circuit, probably polarity doesn't matter. And for all of you that don't know what polarity means, it's just basically which way are the positive and the negatives aligned. Which one of these wires is positive, which one is negative. That's polarity. Okay, I don't make this stuff up. Okay, so now we dissect the intestines. These are attached to tabs that are soldered onto the backing plate. It is possible if you pull this up with a lot of force that you will rip this off, the same way that your tabs on your defroster lines are soldered right onto the defroster lines on your rear windshield. It is possible for you to break this off. Okay, there is a clean extraction. As you can see here, we have our tab, and here we have our housing. This is what you want. So we will go ahead and mark that with little O. And yes, you can write an O on wires. Just like that. It's not too hard. Alright, let's go for number 2. I'm just going to wiggle it back and forth. See this tab? You do not want that tab to come out. Although this is a junk mirror, so I really don't care, just for practice, you know. It's always a good thing to do that. Just to see if you can do it. No, this one looks like it's already one to detach. Nope, couldn't do it. Came out. And I did see a couple of heated mirrors at the junkyard with that same exact issue. After a while, they become brittle. The solder joint breaks down, and that's a real piss poor joint. There's almost no solder on there. You can solder it back on there. Okay, so don't think if you screw up, you know, it's permanent. You can solder that back on there and be just fine. And this is what it will look like if you screw up. You will have part of this stuck in your socket, and that's not what you want. So that's what a screw up looks like. And for me, it's not a big deal because it's junk mirror anyway. With that practice, now I have to remove this because I still have the motor attached. If I break this, I'm in for a long night because it means I'm going to have to resolder these back on there, and I don't want to break out my soldering iron. Soldering is okay if you're creating projects. If you're fixing things, it becomes a little bit more tedious. Well, I'm not going to need my heat gun. I'll go ahead and put that off to the side. I had the most success with gripping it up high and then wiggling it back and forth while pulling out, but you don't want to wiggle back and forth too much, otherwise you'll break the solder joint. So you just want to wiggle back and forth just a little bit as in a sawing action to saw it out. That's a theory anyway. This one does not want to come out. I'm not going to force that. No, that one either. Alright, so if that doesn't work, then my next angle of attack is going to be to try and come in here and actually bend this out a little bit more. Like this. Crimp it and then roll it out. Just like you're rolling a fender or something like that. Just roll it out. Then you come in here and grip it and you kind of wiggle it back and forth. I thought I saw some free play there. Nope, I'm going to have to do some more. Ta-da. Do the same to the connector on the other side, and I know what you're thinking. When it comes time to reinstall, I'm going to have to re-bend those back on. It's a lot easier to put them back on than it is to take them off. Andy completely destroyed this, and I told him it was okay, so this is a junk motor. I can't even resell this on eBay if I wanted to because this is all sliced up, and this is junk. So don't ask me if I still have this laying around somewhere. I don't. Okay, I'm going to throw this in the trash. It's trash. Everything looks the same. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll get our tabs in, and remember we have the one with the O for the outside, so we will go ahead and connect that first because that looks like it's the harder one of the two to connect. That's on there. Now I'm going to recrimp the ends like so, and that flattens out the ends, and that should provide a good crimp. Now all I have to do is just snap this right back into place. Alright, I think that's it. What I'm going to do is attempt to break this glass, and we're going to see exactly how this thing is put together. Just because I want Richpin to have this information just in case he needs it someday, just to help him out. Yeah. I should probably wear gloves. It's amazing how much braver you get when you have gloves on. The glass is popping on all over the place. Man, All I need to do is get up a section so that I can show him to this black backing material here on the glass. And there's the grid. I can in fact see that it is adhesed on both sides of this black layer. This black layer is a double-sided tape. There is a layer of double-sided tape between the glass and the grid on this side. Now let's see if we can go try and do the same thing on this side. And I can feel that it's sticky right here, so I know that there is a layer of tape. Let's just call it 3M oval shaped piece of 3M backing tape on the back of the grid, between the grid and the housing. There is no getting that apart. You have to install this as one whole unit. If you break your glass, there is no just replacing just the glass mirror. You must replace this entire unit. So I hope you learned something valuable out of that. That's pretty neat for Saturn owners to know this, that you need this entire, at the very least, this entire housing with the heater grid and the mirror glass if you have a heated mirror. And now I'm screwing it in, just the top stud from the other side so that it doesn't fall down. Now that's secured on the top stud, and we can go around to the other side. As long as you get them on there, that's the important thing. Make sure everything lines up and your seals are good on the other side, and everything fit up just right for me the first time. Run these down. I don't know what the torque specs are for it. Because there's rubber seals behind here, that means that you want to make sure that this is air and watertight. So you do want to run these down, moderately tight. We will go ahead and plug our connector back in. And that was jammed down in the hole. I think it was just sitting like that. Don't forget our grommet that popped halfway across the car. There's two tiny little tabs that come out the bottom of here that have to go behind two tabs. Okay, make sure that everything's lined up. And when everything's lined up, I usually just give it a smack or a punch. And that way it clips in. And I think that's secure there. Then I'll just go and make sure that our glass is nice and clean. Now I'm going to attempt to adjust her mirrors, which I think is this switch. Wow, she's almost hitting 100,000. 99778. Got the window switch. I'm guessing I go over to the right. And oh crap. It does not want to rotate right. Oh, there we go. I think it's just the switch. I think the switch right here, the right side switch, is messed up because I hit it a couple times and then it started going. Oh, Saturn. She had that cracked mirror she bought the car with the cracked mirror like that. So that's really nice that I can go to junkyards and fix stuff like that for her. That's actually going to make a pretty nice difference when she drives the car and how she feels about her car. It's little things that go a long way. So that's the video. That's how you replace an L-Series side view mirror glass thingy. Click like if this has helped you, and shout out to Richpin. You're doing an awesome job, and I really love your videos, and even though it's Saturn, keep up the good work, bro. Really cool stuff. And yes, you are a pimp with your sequential turn signal things. That is pretty neat, and I wish I could do that to my mom's car. But with the heated mirrors and the L-Series, no can do. No can do. Hey, but live and learn. Everybody keep up the good work and stay positive and follow the thumb. You are getting sleepy. You are getting sleepy. You are getting sleepy.